I'm titling this "Are We Acting?" I don't know if it's, whatever. It's a good enough title. And what I want to, this really came up because the other day I was reading something and then had a conversation with, I think, folks in the back room or my team. Maybe it was Jamie, who's leads our moderator team, but talking about code switching. And then I started thinking, hey, it's not just code switching, but it's also just managing who we are in the world. And so, but the first one I thought about that we would do a piece on code switching per se, or talk about what that is and why it is and how it happens. And the idea is that people switch between dialects or between accents or between languages, and we do it in a way because we want to communicate something. And sometimes people do it because it's habit. Sometimes people do it because it's more natural. Sometimes people don't even know that they're doing it, and it's unconscious. Sometimes people do it because they want to fit in. And so, you're going to speak in a certain way. And so there are lots of reasons that we code switch. When we talk about it a lot, if you've ever heard this term, a lot of people speak about it as though it's a bad thing. As though like, oh, that really sucks. I have to code switch because I have to do X, or I have to have give people the impression of Y, or whatever it is. We often talk about things as though they're bad, and which I find a little bit tiring, actually, which is because in my understanding or my vision of culture and race and ethnicity and all the things that we talk about, it's not all bad, it's not all negative, it's actually really fascinating. And there are quite a number of reasons that people switch back and forth between languages or between dialects, right? Just the way you talk. So anyway, we're going to have some things here. We're going to talk a little bit, but Nidhi and here, bro, what's your name?
Saket.
Here, can you I don't know if you're gonna. Okay, so here they're gonna demonstrate, right? And maybe there might. Wait, what's your name again?
Saket.
Saki.
Saket.
Oh wait, hang on. All right, I gotta turn my mic on. All right, say it one more time, dude.
Saket.
Okay, Saket. All right. I gotta turn my earpiece on, not my mic. So you're wondering whether you'll be able to do. So I'm gonna take the heat off of you. Yeah. You may or may not be able to really do that.
Yeah, I don't think I can do this, but
you're gonna.
I'll try. Yeah.
But there might be somebody else who can do it really well, and you're really welcome to come to demonstrate this. But Nidhi can do it.
Yeah.
So Nidhi, where did you learn to speak English?
Okay, so my dream, since 6th grade, was to study abroad. I'm from India, so abroad to me was the United States, and I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of Western YouTubers, and I kind of picked up on that, a lot of observational learning.
Stop. Okay, switch.
Okay, so I'm talking to you, and he said he's from South India, so, we are very similar in how we speak, but he grew up in Downington.
Yeah.
So.
So where'd you grow up?
So, I was in India for until I was 4, and then I moved here. See, I can't really. I can't really do it. I used to be able to do it, but I can't.
Wait, can anybody else do it? Anybody else? Can anyone else switch into that Indian?
Anyone?
Really? Nobody can do that? We got a lot of Indians in here. You can't pull that off? All right. No one's got that? All right, dude. Yo, can you do it? Did you have your hand up? Yo, come down.
There you go.
Let's go.
I have no idea.
Dude, do we have another mic? You're gonna try. Where are you from? What's your name? Wait,
Mohawk.
do it in like American English, as American English
As much as I can.
Yeah.
My name's Mohawk. I'm from Mumbai in India.
Uh-huh.
And
When did you start speaking English?
since kindergarten.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you go to an international school or anything?
No. But everything we learn in school is in English.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. So go. So now switch and tell us about your family.
okay. So my dad is he works in.
No, do it and switch. Can you do that? Can you go into
I
the?
can. It's just tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. So my dad works in construction, and my mom is a homemaker. So I can try to do this.
Okay,
It's
go
a
ahead.
bit difficult.
Okay. There you go. You do you
But
hear
yes.
he slid into
Yeah,
it?
he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do that with your Indian? So ask him if he does that with his.
Do you do that with all your Indian friends, or just like?
Mostly.
Yeah. And do you do change with
I
Americans?
switch it
Yeah.
up when I'm talking
And
to someone else.
why do you switch?
Because
No, stay in the Indian dialect.
well, I can do it with you because
Okay, do it
you're
with him.
You know, so because I feel like I mimic what their accent is. So if you talk to me in Indian accent, I do it back,
Yeah.
and then if they talk to me in an American accent, I do it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's the same for you?
It is the same. I feel I only switch it up when I'm talking to someone who is from India. So if
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
if it's an Indian origin person in who's born in the U.S.,
Yeah.
It's-
It's not that
it's
easy.
not the same.
Yeah.
So would you stay in that?
Okay.
Would you switch it up with each other?
No, because you're from Mumbai, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm from Bangalore, so we're both from India, and I don't think we would have to switch to that because we'd
Yeah,
still be
we
in.
wouldn't have to switch to that.
Yeah.
So you would know that you're already in it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But
Yeah.
do you have roommates
Yes, I do have roommates
from India?
from India. Yeah.
And so around them, do you go into that, or do you do the?
Just the original, like the Indian accent
You do the Indian accent
Yeah.
completely.
completely.
So you do it all the time then with your
Yeah.
roommates. Do you have Indian roommates? But you're totally Americanized, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Do you
pretty
do it-
whitewashed.
But do your parents have that?
Yeah, they speak exactly like them.
And do you ever do that with your parents?
It's like some words here and there, like my V's and W's. I switch them up with them.
And you sing a little bit. It's like
Can
there's
I
a
sing?
singing quality.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess. Yeah, but yeah, it's just like a couple words for me. I used to be able to do what they did, but like I've been here for so long, I kind of forgot that part of me.
So did you feel like when you were growing up, say with like your friends, do you feel did you feel a need with your American friends? Did you feel a need to like drop that and not talk like your parents talk?
With my Indian friends or with my like what do you mean?
Here, you can stand up.
All right.
Yeah, no, with your American friends.
Yeah, well, I didn't really have like an accent. Like I had an accent when I was like a child, maybe like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really switch. It just kind of like it was like a gradual thing, where it just kind of became more of an American accent as I grew up.
And did your parents talk about wanting you to get rid of that, or did they want you to keep it? Because it's so distinctly Indian.
No, well, I can kind of speak a different language with them. So as long as I kept that side of me, they
Yeah.
didn't really care how I spoke English.
So it didn't matter.
It didn't matter for them at
They
least.
what language do you speak?
Telugu,
Telugu?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then yeah. So they didn't really care how I spoke English. They just, as long as I was able to speak to like my grandparents or relatives from India with the Telugu,
Then English doesn't matter.
then English they don't really
Yeah.
care. And plus, all my relatives in India speak English,
Yeah.
so it's not like I can still communicate with them either way. So
Yeah, like especially, listen, just so you know, especially if you're in the cities, I mean, almost everybody speaks English, right? Not everybody. I mean, there's some people that don't, but obviously.
Yeah.
And you have one Indian roommate and
Yeah, and 3 American roommates.
And you just switch back and forth with them?
Yeah, it's weird because we'll be in the living room with my Indian roommate and my, well, she's from Maryland. She's white, and I literally switch like right there in
So
mid
if these were your
conversation.
roommates, you would do like the Indian thing with him,
Yeah.
but you'd turn to him and you'd.
Yeah.
Can you just demonstrate that somehow? Like imagine you're watching, I don't know, the Simpsons. I don't know. What do you want?
It's so much more difficult to do that in front of everyone
Yeah,
than
that's
when
true.
you're just
Yeah.
in front of someone else.
Yeah.
But I could try.
Yeah, let me just see.
Okay. Can we talk about something?
How was your day? I don't know.
Okay, you asked me how was your day.
How was your day?
So it was really good. So I went to like my 2 classes, and then I went to comp sci and I learned how to code.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so cool. Right? This
I
is
can
like,
do that as smooth as her, but whenever I go back home, it's usually the Indian accent, and then when I'm here, when I'm talking to someone I don't know, then it's this.
So you switch into it like probably right on the airplane, because when you fly to India,
Yeah.
it's like 85%.
Or when I'm
Indians.
talking to my Indian friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so intense, man. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Right? It's just so cool. You know what I mean? It's just like this is how our minds can be really broken up in these ways that you don't, it's why humans are so cool, that we have these possibilities and we do this thing. Yeah, what feels more natural to the two of you, or are they both just automatic?
Honestly, yeah, like with people like with Americans, it feels natural for me to talk like this.
Yeah.
But with Indians, it feels natural.
So both
like
are
that.
natural then?
Yeah.
Both are pretty natural.
Yeah. Especially being here is way better for the code switching to happen.
Yeah.
In India, I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
I would just be
yeah.
doing it in my room because I just like talking like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's cool, right? Like, I know I can imagine. I think the story of you with your roommates and like talking to this roommate in one way, and in the very next sentence talking to this one completely differently, right? It's like it's so awesome. Yeah, and it's cool that you didn't for you, because it's a question for you, right? Do you and when you're a little kid, do you pick that up or not, right?
Yeah, I think it's just more gradual. I do pick it up.
Yeah,
It's just-
I got you. And I can see why it would be more difficult for
Yeah.
you but when you go to, when's the last time you were in India?
It's been a while. It's been 10 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you remember at that time? Did you like?
Yeah, I had if I was there, I kind of had it then.
Yeah, I got you.
It's just again, it's more gradual there too. Like I was there for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I started picking up a couple of words
Got
here
ya.
and there, and then
Yeah, that's cool. Dude, awesome, man. All right, thanks, bro. Thank you. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you got it. All right. Hey, so let's go. Wait, who's our next? You ready? Yeah, let's go. Brianna, right? We can have a seat. You can sit. Do you want to sit on the table?
No.
You want to sit behind? Let's sit behind then. Everybody sit behind. All right.
You gave me one.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, can you go to the next slide? So one of the, and first off, introduce yourselves, actually. So we'll start with you.
My name is Brianna Bird. I am from Philadelphia. And what else should I say? Oh, I'm a junior, and my major is journalism.
You're from North Philly, right?
North Philadelphia, yes.
Yeah. All right, man.
My name is Sung Chan, but I also go by Nathan. I'm a sophomore, and I'm a business student right now.
Wait, so Sung Chen. And you are, well, hang on, we'll come back to that.
I'm Ariana. I'm a senior majoring in accounting, and I'm from Easton, Pennsylvania.
Easton, Pennsylvania. All right, so listen, I want to have a conversation about impression management, okay? And impression management is this thing that we're doing all the time as human beings. We are managing the impressions of other people. When we put our clothes on, when we do our hair, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we engage people, the way we shake hands, there's certain dialects or certain words that we choose to use or not words, whatever it is, however it is, right? The way, the clothing we wear, the cars we buy, the majors and height, whatever it is, right? Everything, the impression management is baked into the human condition because historically speaking, it's how we survive in the groups. It's really, you got to assess who you're with and all the dangers out there in life. You want to move yourself forward and stay aware of the dangers and go toward people and things that actually will make it more likely that you will really thrive. And so we're going to manage these impressions. And lots of other species do it as well. There's I remember reading about this species of seagull where there's a male gulls that sometimes they're transgendered in a way that they'll fluff their feathers up, the male gulls, so they look more female, and then they go and hang out with the females, right? So in a way, they're managing impressions to hang out with these female gulls, which is really fascinating, by the way. So let me just start. Actually, Brianna, let's start with you. So you went to a private Catholic school, right? Well, so you're in North Philly, went to a private Catholic school.
Yeah, so I live in North Philadelphia, but the high school that I went to was still in North Philadelphia. It was just at the end of it, kind of close to, if you know Philadelphia, kind of close to Uptown.
Uh-huh.
And it was called Cristo Rey Philadelphia High School. And with the private Catholic school, we had to have internships every year. And so my first year as a freshman, I interned at a law firm. And then my last 3 years, I interned at a mortgage company.
Okay, so tell me, so where for you, being from North Philly, so the moment you say, if you're in Philly, the moment you say from North Philly, what's the impression of you?
Ghetto, loud, which is true, but
Poor?
It's poor, very, but which is true is not a wrong thing to say. It's just it's wrong to think that once you see me and not even know my backstory or stuff like that.
So then tell me about, so when you're going to this private school, so immediately where does impression management come in, right? Because you're entering this school, it's a private school, you're like, okay, I got to be what? I want these people to think what about me?
I had to always feel like I was put together, but my high school was predominantly Black and Hispanic, so I didn't feel like I had to manage myself for them because I knew a lot of people from those same neighborhoods that I'm from.
Yep.
It was more so when I went to my job, and that's why I said that we had to do internships because I don't mind. I didn't have to code switch or manage myself in school. I felt like I didn't have to.
Okay, yep.
But when I went to both of my jobs, it was I had to present myself a certain way. I didn't wear skirts at school because I just didn't feel comfortable, but I wore a skirt when I went to work, just to show that, you get real, when women wear pants instead of skirts or pants instead of dresses, it's they think stuff. So I had to really just present myself in a specific way.
And how, because you wanted them to think what?
That I could do the work that they had me to do and that I can be in a setting that they had me in.
Mm-hmm. And that you weren't ghetto, or you weren't whatever, right? You were
Right.
talented.
Yeah.
And so how did you change the way you wait? How did you change the way you spoke?
Like certain words I won't say. Like when I was at work, I didn't say John. I didn't say bull. I didn't say stuff like that.
John.
Yeah, like that John over there. I didn't say stuff like that. That paper over there, you know.
Yeah.
I went down that John. I went down the stairs. Like I just didn't say certain words.
John is like one of those words. Can you teach people, dude? Do you know what John means? Yeah. Can you teach people that don't know what John means? What John means?
John is a noun. It can be used to describe a person, place, or thing.
Including that microphone.
This is a John that I'm talking to.
These beads are John.
You are John.
I'm
Yeah.
a John too. Yeah. Damn, man. I know, it's crazy. Okay, so you're going into this. Was the law firm and the mortgage firm, were they mostly white firms or?
Yes. Well, my the law firm that I went to, that I worked at my freshman year, I was very fortunate to have black women as my supervisors, and I say that because that law firm was ran by white men, and from what the black women that I work with would tell me about the law firm just in general and who ran it, I was very fortunate to be placed with those young women.
So you're in there. Every day you're managing. How about your hair? How'd you do your hair?
Oh, so my school, okay, so that's a good thing. My school was predominantly black and Hispanic, but we couldn't wear afros. We couldn't wear our hair a certain way. We couldn't color it.
You can wear your hair natural?
I would have to slick it down. I would have to wear box braids. Like my class, like class of 2019, we kind of like rioted. Not really, but like we wasn't standing for it. So in school, which was my private school, was ran by a white man. Our president was a white man. He didn't understand that majority of the kids who attended the school don't have straight hair or don't have the hair that is deemed presentable.
Yeah.
And it was like, how are you going to not let us do this? And it's mainly us here. And so when we went to work, it was more so because of the jobs we had. But when I went to work, I had to slick my hair down, or it had to be presentable. You had to stay back from work if you didn't look right.
So the whole thing. So this impression management. How about up here? Hang on, I'm gonna come back to you, Sung. So you are the vice president of the Korean Students, the president of the Korean Student Association.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you Korean or are you American?
I mean, I'm Korean, but I grew up in the U.S. But,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I guess what I meant is your nationality, or is your passport Korean?
I gave up my Korean citizenship like 3 years ago, so I'm American. Yeah.
And so you speak English with an American accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in Korean, how's your Korean?
I mean, I think my Korean's pretty good. Accent-wise, I think it's like a Seoul accent, but I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, I've never had anyone like tell me that my accent was different, but it's still not like perfect, you know.
Okay, so how many students in the Korean how many students are there in the association?
Like official members, maybe like 50.
And how many of them are from Korea, and how many are Korean Americans?
It's like a mix of a lot. I would say like, well, it depends, because people that come to our events might not be like part of the club. So if I go off that, like I would say like around 30%, 25% might be from Korea. And then around 50% of that would be Korean American. And then the other like percent would be like anybody else, to be honest. Yeah.
So let's think about this question of both code switching. First off, is there anything with the code switching piece that you related to, with language itself?
Kind of, like when I speak like English to like people who speak English, it's more like casual and stuff. But when I speak Korean, I try to be more polite when I talk to people.
Try to be more polite?
Yeah, try to be a little more polite, yeah.
Like more, wait, hang on a sec. So you want to be more polite, more formal?
Yeah, a little more formal. Yeah.
And so how do you relate to the impression management piece as the with you being Korean here and Korean American, and like how does that operate in the Korean community here?
So I would say that when I talk to like Korean international students, like when I try to make my first impression, I try to like impress them by talking about stuff about Korea that I know that they won't think that I would know. And I try to like use like fancy words sometimes in Korean.
Yeah.
But and when I talk to like Korean American students, if I do speak to them in Korean, it's more like even if I make a mistake, I'm gonna just keep spitting it out. And then
It won't matter.
Yeah, it won't matter to be honest. Yeah.
So when you say you're trying to impress them, like what's the purpose of that?
Just to make sure they don't think that I'm not like, just so, like I get acknowledged as Korean, I guess, something like that.
Get acknowledged as Korean,
Yeah,
meaning like
slightly, yeah.
yeah, because listen, I mean, think about this. This is the Korean Student Association, the student association for all Korean students at Penn State. And the president of the association is the guy who gave up his Korean citizenship to adopt a U.S. citizenship. So it's like, wait, why am I joining the Korean Student Association when it's an American who's the president of the association? So do you feel that? Is there like is that a message that you fear sometimes? Like, where is that? Let's walk into that.
I mean, like, I would say that, like, sometimes Korean international students don't want to, like, they want to just hang out by themselves, which I understand. But I feel like if someone that's from Korea joins, like, my club, that means they're interested already in, like, Korean American stuff.
Yep.
They're not too, like, opposed to stuff like that. And I never really told anyone I gave up my Korean citizenship, but, I mean, I had to give that up because I didn't want to go to the military.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, it didn't make sense serving in the military if I didn't live in Korea. I was just born there, so
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, let's be really clear, because we're talking about Korea, so this video will get translated into Korean, and it will go out. So let me say something to Koreans who are going to watch this video. Yeah, the issue is that if you're born here, I mean, if you're born there and you come here, like, what's the point of it? Because every able-bodied man has to join the Korean military for 18 months, right?
Yeah, something like that.
18 months. So what would be the point of him going back and joining the military? Like, and like when you're never gonna live there. You're never gonna live there.
No, I'm not gonna live there.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea then is, as being Korean here, and this is true with a lot of international students, like or people who are really connected to international students, you're managing all the time, like how you're seen and not seen, and it's not a bad thing, right? It's fine. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just part of what life is. Like, we're all managing all the time. So, you said you try to use like fancy words. What's like a word that you would use?
I mean, it would have to come up in the conversation, like certain like vocabulary words that I would pick up on.
Not like somac or something like that.
Somac. Yeah. Oh yeah, like words that like are kind of like not what's it called, like
slang words.
Slang. Yeah. If I could use that sometimes, like they'll be like, oh, so stuff like that.
Somac is when you take soju. You know what soju is, bro? Oh, you wouldn't know. You're Muslim. Why would you know, bro? You know what soju is? All right.
Yeah, soju's like Korean liquor. It's like the most popular one there. Yeah.
Dude, soju is by far and away the most popular spirit in the world. It's not whiskey, it's not rum, it's not vodka, it's soju, right? And so, in fact, a number of years ago, the number 1 and number 3 top-selling spirits in the world were both Korean brands of soju. So, if you haven't tried it, anyway, you mix soju with beer, and it's called somac. Somac? Did I say that right?
Yeah, somac, yeah.
Somac, all right. How about dress?
I mean, when it comes to like how I dress, I honestly don't change how I dress for certain people. I mean, I just wear what I wear.
So you're not thinking about it?
Yeah, I'm not thinking about that.
Hey, y'all. Hey, listen. I know that it's just like a couple people start a conversation, but it gets really noisy down here. All right? Bro, so when you're going to have a meeting like with the organization, with your club, what do you think about with your dress, or do you not? Are you just like every other guy at Penn State? You just throw clothes on and go?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It's not like a professional
Except
club.
gay
It's
men.
more casual club.
More
So,
casual?
yeah, like even if we like meet for like meetings with the execs and all that, like it's not like we're pulling up with like button-down shirts and stuff. It's just like whatever you wear.
I got you.
Yeah.
When's the last time you were in Korea?
Last time I was in Korea, when I was in 5th grade, I went to Korea and I studied there for like a year.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Uh-huh. Cool. All right. Anything else to add, or we'll keep going? We'll come back?
We can come back later. Yeah.
All right, man. That's cool. I like what you're saying. I mean, I think it's showing like the complexity of this, right? That we're in it. We're in it all the time. It's just part of the way we think about it. Ariana, so what's your story? What's your background?
My dad's Puerto Rican and my mom's just white. She's like Irish and Italian or something.
And do you connect with, how much do you connect with your Puerto Rican, with your roots, Irish and Italian and then Puerto Rican?
So on my mom's side, I mostly connect with my Italian. My grandfather is like really heavy on that, and I, like most of my life, I hung out with my mom's side of the family. A little bit when I was younger, I would hang out with my dad's side a little bit, but my mom would bring me to like these events, so I would hang out with my cousins. We would have like barbecues, so I'd stay maybe up to like till I was like 11 or 12. I would hang out with them probably like evenly as my mom's side, but then like after that, I kind of just, not that I like cut contact with them, it was just a relationship with my dad and his side of the family. He just like cut it, so I didn't really talk to them as much anymore.
Okay, so what's your last name?
Lozada.
Lozana?
Lozada, Lozada.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lozada. So Ariana Lozada.
Yeah.
So so Spanish. Where are you with Spanish?
I don't really understand it. I took the AP test in high school and I got a 1. And then I took a Spanish 3 here at Penn State when I was a freshman, and I think I got like a B-. So I can read it and write it more than I could speak it or like understand if somebody spoke it to me.
So okay, so you are, but you're like half Hispanic, right? So
Yeah.
So listen, hang on. I want to say this, by the way. I want to say this to you. When we have a part of our background, there are many people many white people in this room who are like Irish or German or Italian, and they don't really connect with it, and then maybe they think they should, but I don't really, and I don't know. But there's no shame. There's no pressure associated with that. You either like connect or you don't. It doesn't matter. Like there's probably, well, what I would say is at least 30% of the white people in this room have German ancestry, and no one feels bad about the fact that they don't like really connect with their German ancestry. It's just not a thing. That's part of it. But when you're a person of color, or in your case, a person half of color, right?
Yeah.
There's like a should part of it. So do you feel that pressure? How much do you feel that pressure? Like I should connect and.
I feel it a lot, like probably every day. I think it grew more when I came to college. Like my high school was a little bit diverse. Like there was like a lot of Hispanic people, but I didn't really connect with them. I had a lot of white friends. So I feel like I got whitewashed then, but when I came to college, I realized like there's so many different people. Like I kind of felt bad that I didn't like accept my Hispanic side until then, you know?
Okay. And so now you're really in the space of exploring your Hispanic side, your Puerto Rican side.
For sure.
And how? What do you see? What do you imagine you would get from that?
Maybe like, I'm kind of hoping that maybe I'll develop like, as I see like the Hispanic culture, especially like Puerto Rican culture, maybe I'll pass that down to my children. Like I didn't have my dad who taught me like anything. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't teach me, he taught me 0 about Puerto Rico and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe I would get like some, I can't think of the word right now, but like their traditions, there you go, like some traditions that they would do, or like Hispanic food, like I want to pass that along or something like that.
Yeah, which is completely natural. Like it's cool. And so Spanish, you You don't do people when you try to speak Spanish, people like laugh? What do they say?
Yeah. Well, I actually tried to speak Spanish the other day to this girl at work, and she was like, "Oh, that wasn't right." Like, I think I like mixed up like estar and ser, which mean the same thing, but obviously like you use it in a different context. And she was like, "Oh, it's supposed to be like estoy," and I was like, "Oh, if I were to say that, would you still like understand?" And she was like, "Yeah, but we would definitely make fun of you." I was like, "Oh, okay."
So
Like,
this
that's
is
great.
right. So for you, so when now we think about impression management, right? Like for you to even step your toe in the water of saying, "Hey, I want to just I just want to explore this culture, this piece of my culture a little bit, right? So I'm gonna just speak Spanish a little bit, and then the moment you put some Spanish out there and people come down on you, it's like, okay, well, that's not happening, which sucks. Can you not do that? You're like,
Please don't do it.
Yeah, like those of you who know a language, if someone's trying to learn a little bit of your language, do not be dicks. God, don't be a-holes. Like, come on, man. It's just part of it. So for you, this is like when impression management is like you have to walk into an Hispanic environment saying like you can't really announce that I'm Hispanic
Yeah.
because
Just because I feel like first of all, they would expect me to speak Spanish and like know like literally all these like facts about something or whatever, and I'd be like, "Oh no, I don't," and they'll be like they'll judge you if you don't speak Spanish, and they'll be like, "Why?" But then, like I said, if I try to, like they would judge me again, so it's like a lose-lose situation.
So culturally, like so in terms of your roots, you're Hispanic, but which is a sociological category, but like you only have a few different pieces of the traditions, but you want to have more. But yet, it's hard to have more because every time you walk into a space, you have to manage the impressions of all these people who may or may not accept you. And because of that, it's like, okay, like how do I do this then, right? So, Sung, that's less of an issue with you because you speak Korean at like an 85 or 90% fluency rate, right?
Yeah, I really never had that problem with like being afraid of speaking Korean or something like that, but
Plus, you look Korean. I mean, you are Korean.
Yeah, yeah.
Biologically, you are
biologically,
Korean.
yeah, I'm full Korean, yeah.
But when I see Ariana, I feel like no. I was telling her before class, like I see in like some Indian features, like your nose and so on, and your cheeks. So like I see that come out for her. But I would see her and think, especially her name is Ariana, so I'm gonna think, okay, you're Latina, right? So or part of you is Latina anyway. So I would just not expect you to speak Spanish, but I would just assume that about you at some level. So for you, that's not, but that piece of it wasn't an issue.
It's not like a big issue, I would say. Like maybe slight, but not
But you
too
think
much.
about it.
Think about it every now and then, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else that when Ariana was talking that came up for you that you think about that's kind of...
I would say just in general, like when I speak Korean to like, let's say someone that's from Korea, like they know that I'm not from Korea when I talk. So sometimes I have that in the back of my head as well, like, oh, they know that I'm just from America, but I've never felt embarrassed or like anything like that from it. I think I'm just try to be more confident about it, and like if they do think that my Korean is bad or anything like that, that just means I have to improve on it, but stuff like that.
Or it's really more about them, right?
Yeah.
But the difference, though, with Korea is that Koreans, a huge swath of Koreans really want to learn English. Like, so for many Koreans, they would rather be you. There's so many people that would rather speak English with an American accent like you do and be 85% fluent in Korean. Like, that would be great for them. Am I right about that?
No, that does make sense, because I know that they take English seriously in Korea as well.
Yeah.
They have like exams for it and stuff, and I know that if you can speak English fluently in Korea, it's like you're like seen as slightly more educated maybe.
Yeah.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Slightly more educated. And it's just like it's a cool thing, right? The whole like K culture, all the pieces of K culture. It's a thing. It's really, and yet Koreans are so shy. When I talk to Koreans, because I'm always either typing to Koreans or having Zoom sessions with Koreans, and like so many people are really shy. Like Korean YouTubers, they take a lot of my videos in this class and they translate them into Korean, and I'll be like, hey, why don't you like this is amazing, this is cool. Like their English is perfect. And then I'll say, why don't you join the class someday? Like, or let's Skype. Let's do something together. And like, oh no, my English is terrible. And I'm like, and then I finally talk to them, and their English is awesome. But the idea is there's just that way of being in Korean culture that's very, I don't know, thoughtful, very, very, very modest. Would you say? Is that it?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Even my like parents, they like learned English here because they work here now, and like they're pretty good at English. Obviously not with like a American accent, but they can speak it and have a conversation pretty well. But they're still afraid to speak it to like American people, you know. So they gotta like build the confidence for that as well.
They're afraid to speak because
their accent, maybe they don't know a few words, but their English is good. So that's the thing.
And then they have to manage impressions so that somehow it's okay.
Yeah, like when we first moved into our neighborhood, like our neighbors were like white and stuff, and my dad was like, I had to like give him confidence to talk to them in English and stuff for the first time, and it worked out well. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Hey, Brianna, has anything come up here that like you're thinking like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah, when Ariana, is that how you say it? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Ariana, it's almost like a D instead of an R. Like
Right.
not Ariana, it's like Ariana.
I took Spanish for 3 semesters. No, so I don't know it. But when you was talking about like how half of your like when you try to learn Spanish and stuff like that, and basically kind of like not getting accepted, I don't understand it from a personal sense because I'm not Hispanic, but I see it all the time, and like I think that's why like a lot of the stuff with cultures, why we're hindered in that area, because people are not accepting of it, especially like even in the black culture in some sense.
Yeah.
There's rejection to other black people, even
Yeah.
like, and I hate to say it, but even like half like people that's half black,
Yeah, for sure.
when they try to get on their black side, some people
Yeah.
in the black community reject them.
Yep.
I haven't had to experience that, but I see it all the time. So I kind of understood what you were saying with that, and how like that's hard, and that's like it hinders you from even wanting to express it or like learn it.
So that goes with the conversation we had on Tuesday, and like I was thinking that with Jaden. I never asked him that question, but that's kind of like. So let me ask you though, as someone who's of African, are you African American or are you?
I don't know where I'm from in the sense of where I'm from. I just know I'm from Philly and I'm black. That's all I know.
So you probably have extended family members though from the South, like Virginia, North Carolina.
Yeah,
South
how did you know
Carolina.
that? Yeah.
Dude, I know. You know, I'll tell you now. So therefore, you're ADOS, as we say, right? American
Sure.
descendant of slavery. Okay, so, but you're African American, right? Black American. So like, but you must have an impression management thing that also goes on. It's like, so what do you know about Africa, right?
Yes. Let me tell you just a quick story. I was at one of my jobs on campus at a cafe, and this one guy, he came over to me. He asked me where I was from. I'm like, I'm from Philadelphia. He was like, oh, you're black. And then he said, do you sell drugs? I'm like, no. He was like, oh, where are you from? I said, Philadelphia. He said, no, like, what part of Africa? I'm like, not sure. Like, I didn't know how to answer that. And he was making assumptions of, like, where I'm from, what I do because of me being black. And I never had to experience, like, having to explain that I'm not from Africa, or at least I don't know if I'm from Africa or not. But it was just really, like, left field. I've never experienced that, and I experienced it last semester.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How do you experience it with other Africans, though? Like, because there's this thing between Africans and African Americans, the ADOS community. But it's like that, you know, lots of people who are African American who, you know, like maybe will wear symbols or try to be connected to some African culture, whatever it is. It's usually West African. It's going to be Nigerian or Ghanaian or something. But like, how much do you feel like, I should know, or I should be connected, or I should whatever? I'll wear an oxen. I'll wear something that symbolizes a connection to Africa. Is that part of it? Because that's an impression management among a lot of black people.
I would say because of where I'm from, specifically in Philadelphia, we didn't, at least from what I know, it wasn't like where we had a lot of Africans and Jamaicans here and stuff like that. So, but there are places in Philly that is like that. And, you know, we call them Poppy Land. We call them, that's where the Africans stay. That's where Jamaicans go. But I wasn't exposed to that even when I went to high school. Not a lot of people from my high school were like, had that background. So I never felt that pressure in a sense. It wasn't until I came to college and I met two of my friends that's from New York. And one of my friends is from St. Lucia. And then the other one is like Panamanian or something like that. And it was like a cultural shock because they would say things like they had an accent. I've never met black people that had accents in a sense of like an accent like mine, like from Philly or whatever. So I didn't really get to experience any of that until I got to college with being exposed to a lot of other different cultures. But that's just my personal experience in Philly. People in Philadelphia may have a different say to that, but I never felt pressure of being like, what do you know about Africa? What part of Africa? It was never that until I got here.
Yeah, but you know, like what I was saying, like there's a sentiment, there's a thread in the African community here, and the thread is kind of like you have all these people who call themselves African Americans, but who have zero connection to Africa at all. And there's like a little bit of kind of a resentment somehow. I mean, you know how it is, right?
Yeah, I was on like TikTok like about a week or so ago, and it is that argument of like Africans being not, I don't want to say upset because that's not all Africans, you know?
No.
But some Africans do have problems with black people in America that call themselves African American. And I know like when certain things came out, like when the Black Panther came out and then when Beyonce did her homecoming thing on Netflix, it was a sense of, oh, our culture, our roots, let's go back home. And I know some people that's from there that was like, we don't want y'all here, like stuff like that.
Yeah, right. This isn't your home. You're Americans, man. Like you're Americans. That's not your home. And so when you're trying to have these deep connections to Africa, you're just like being silly in a way because you don't want to go to Africa. You're not going to live in Africa. You're going to go to Africa and you're going to stay at some like kind of resort or something, you know? And So that, I mean, it's this thing that so you got to manage those impressions, right? So then if you're around Africans, you would have to manage those impressions to be like, hey man, I'm not trying to be African here. Like I recognize I'm from North Philly, I'm African American, it's cool, it's got that. So I'm not trying to be something other than I am. That would be a way of managing impressions, I suppose.
Well, I would say, well, that's not Africa, but from other, like, most of my friends that I did meet that aren't just, like, from Philadelphia, they are, like, Caribbean or have Caribbean ties.
Right.
So I haven't really met a lot of Africans per se, but more people that are from, like, the Caribbean side. And so with them, like, I pick up stuff that they say, like, you know, some Caribbean people, they suck their teeth. And so, like that part. And when I first met my friends that are from New York, they did that. I'm like, are you kissing me? Like kissing at me? Because that's what my mom used to say. Don't suck your teeth. But that's a part of their culture. And so I feel as though I've been more like accepted more than rejected when it comes to that side.
Yeah, there are just a few things you got to learn like that. See, Ariana, you know that, right? You just learn a few key things. Mm-hmm. By the way, don't. Hey, that's cool. Thanks, man. I really like that. Don't try to learn Spanish from Puerto Ricans because they don't speak Spanish. I don't know what they speak, but it's not. Are you Puerto Rican, dude? Are you fluent? Do you know how fast, like how fast they speak? It's like you speak normal, like you go to Ecuador and people speak Spanish at like 40 miles an hour, and you go to Puerto Rico, it's like 150 miles an hour. It's like, oh shit! And you cut off all sorts of words because you can't speak that fast and not cut off words. It's like, oh my God! And you're trying to learn Puerto Rican Spanish, and like that's just not
the wave, I guess.
not going to be.
Yeah.
You need to go to the mountains, to the Andes regions of Ecuador, or Peru, or Bolivia. It's nice and slow. Yeah. Okay. Anything else that we can kick out?
Oh, I had a question for you, Ariana. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't think you touched on this, but did your hair play a part in how you had to like present yourself?
No, I was actually thinking about that when you like brought it up. I was like, oh my gosh, should I have to do that? But I feel like, literally since I was so young, like I was surrounded by just like white people, and I feel like I like vividly remember I didn't like want to be. I wanted to be white. Like I didn't want to be colored. Like that's just all I remember thinking. So like I feel like from that beginning of that like mindset up until like maybe mid high school, like I always felt like I fit in. I mean, my hair's like curly, but like it's not like, I don't know. I don't really know how Hispanic hair is supposed to be, but like it's always been like curly. I can't really like straighten it or anything like that. Like it doesn't stay straight. It curls up again, or like I can't like use a wand to like curl my hair. Like it just doesn't work. So like maybe stuff like that I couldn't do like for like prom. I kind of had to go natural because like the hairdressers just didn't really know how to do my hair like that. Like it just didn't look right. It was always so thick too.
Yeah.
But I don't remember ever like trying, I don't know, it being like something in my life that I really had to worry about. But
you think about.
Yeah. Think about,
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, all this stuff is part of how we're navigating the world all the time. And it's awesome, man. Human beings are awesome. Hey, thanks. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you. We're done. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Hey, you can leave those there. Hey, so I want to spend the rest of the class talking a little bit about the queer community and how impression management happens in the queer community. Anybody want to just have some good stories? Because we have a lot of people who we can. Anyone want to like? Because this is very much part of negotiating space. If you're gay or lesbian or bi or trans or whatever, there's a lot of negotiation of space and how you do that. So we have plenty of people who can talk, but like, anybody want to like share? Who's got that? And Jeff, you have to say a couple of things here. Do you want to sit up here? Anybody else want to? If you want to say a couple of things, come down. Yeah, go ahead. Like, how do you so wait, what's your name and then how do you identify? I guess you're on. I think I turned around. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I'm Piper. I identify as gay. I guess like for me, I'm an athlete as well as gay. So a lot of people in the queer community don't accept me because they like assume that I'm like other like heterosexual athletes.
Yeah.
And that I would be homophobic or transphobic or anything like that.
What do you play?
Track and field.
Track and field. And so the impression management for you is playing down the fact that you're gay?
I guess like in my sport, yes, because I'm in a pretty heterosexual sport.
What's your track and field?
Yeah.
What do you do in track and field? Like, what's your?
I throw discus and hammer.
Oh, dude. Yeah. All right. What's your name?
My name's Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
And how do you identify?
Bisexual.
And so how about you? How does the impression management come into play for you?
Yeah, very similar. I'm like, people really think I'm like very straight and stuff, and I hang out with a lot of heterosexual people, So I like kind of come across more straight to them compared to like for say like any of my like bi friends or anything like that or gay friends.
And there are times. How often then, when you're with a bunch of straight people, are you managing the impression to say like, hey, I'm not like the rest of you. I'm actually bi here. So like whatever. Like, how, does that come into play sometimes? Like, when people are assuming that you're straight, and you're like, I'm not really straight. So.
Yeah, I kind of say that sometimes, so then I'm like, hey, I'm not really, but like, I don't like bring it up all the time. It's nothing I really bring up.
So, yeah. Are there sometimes when you just put like a little signal out there, just like a way to say like, hey?
Yeah, kind of. And stuff. It's weird around family too. I haven't brought it up to a lot of family either, so.
Oh, yeah?
No.
Oh, well, you have now.
No, hi.
Yo, hi, Mom and Dad.
Well, my mom knows and my sister knows, and it's kind of weird because I'm kind of more like left-leaning and they're more right-leaning, and it's a whole thing. So.
Yeah. Hey, so Jeff, how about you, man? Like, we talk about this all the time about managing impressions. What? Jump in. I'm gonna go jump on the camera over here. So, you got this, pal.
Dear Lord. So, you know, when I first moved up here, I was like identifying 100% gay. I don't think I'm anything really, like any specific box, because it's so fluid. It really is. Like when I came here, I had to be a part of the gay community, because if I was trying to date, then they were like, oh, so you're gay. And I was like, well, I mean, mostly, but like not 100%. And they're like, well, then you're bisexual, and therefore we can't like be friends. And I was like, what the?
All you, pal.
Why? But there's so much of like a culture, especially like 5-6 years ago when I started here, like you have to be in the LGB or T box, and you have to be in that box, and you must stay in that box, and there's no changing your mind. But then you leave the State College area, and it's like, actually, it's not like that at all. So like I came here, I came out, and then I had to like go and be that way.
So how often though how often are any of you in situations where you are like, okay, I gotta be a certain way in this situation? Like you're in a situation like, I just gotta be straight right here, so I gotta manage.
Hello, Pastor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up very Catholic, so yeah, I was very suppressed. Very.
I thought priests are all gay. Aren't they?
Definitely. I for sure, I bet.
Yeah, all right. Well, a lot that I know are gay. All right. So, wait, so Jeff, how about as a gay man, and then the two of you could jump off of this, and somebody else can jump in if you want, but like, where's the danger factor come in? Like, you're walking across, like downtown at night or something on a weekend, there's like...
It's definitely a fear for my family, because you could get beat up or any of this, and luckily for me, I'm extremely like hetero, like I don't know what to say, like visibly hetero person, so like everyone assumes that I'm straight, especially if you hear my voice, because I loved radio for a long time, and so I have a pretty deep voice, and so if you're walking by me, you wouldn't assume that. But for instance, when I lived on like East College Avenue one year, and I was walking down College Avenue with my boyfriend, and he does not hold my hand in public, and he's like, we could get punched, and I was like, no one's gonna punch us in State College. But he's actually super fearful of that wherever we go. Whereas his cousin and their girlfriend, both female presenting people, they will hold their hands in front of us, and it's not a big deal to them. But for us, probably the biggest thing is like, there's a little bit of a fear, but for me personally, none.
Yeah, but I can see that. Do either of you have that? Like the
I guess for me, last year I was just like downtown on West College Ave, and somebody called me the F slur, and I was just kind of like a little bit shocked. But I feel like I just try to avoid like acting gay when I'm in public in certain settings to avoid that kind of situation.
So in what? Just acting gay. Give me an example. I mean, like holding hands with your girlfriend would be one, right?
Yeah, either that or just like the way I dress and present myself, like clothing wise, or like how I do my hair and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, How about, Jeff, what have you seen with people? You told the story of Michael, actually, a little bit ago. It was actually a pretty cool story. Like his first day on the first week or something, first meeting?
Oh, so my significant other got a new job, and before he's in a call center, and so before he took his first call with everybody in his group listening in, he said the F slur, but he said, "I hope I don't sound like a and all of his coworkers that he like 2 of them that he messaged that to, they were like, "We had no idea when we met you." It wasn't until they brought me up that they knew that he was gay. So, but yeah, we definitely like you in your voice. If you have a gay voice, even if you're straight, like I hear so many. I have a friend from West Virginia whose dad has the most feminine voice in the world, but I mean he says that he's straight, but who knows, you know? Only he does, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely your voice has a lot to do with it. Like if you have a feminine voice, then you're going to try and change it, especially when you're trying to code switch. Like gay men code switch a lot because we don't all want to sound like, you know, JVN all the time.
Uh-huh.
All the gays know who JVN is.
All the gays. All you gays.
And if not, then are you?
Yeah. And if you do know who it is and you think you're not gay, maybe you are. Hey, does anybody want to add it? Troy, do you want to add anything? Did anybody else want to add anything? Do you have? Yeah, here.
Come on down.
Do you have anything to add?
Something that comes to mind as you spoke. Not vulgar.
What's your name? You can come on.
I'm Madison. I'm a senior. I'm gay.
What would you add to it?
I would say,
What would you add?
I mean, when we started this conversation, the first thing I thought about was I have like a very distinct, like, I have my gay friends and I have my straight friends. I think a lot of that comes from like me not explicitly being out when I came to college, so the friends that I made were like primarily straight. I was lucky that when I came out to them, like it was fine. It wasn't really like anything changed, like not really. But yeah, you act a certain way when you're with your gay friends. You act a certain way like when you're with your straight friends. You dress different. You
Like what? Like give me like a couple. Give us just a couple pieces of that. What's that look like?
a lot of my roommates are like not straight, so like this outfit. This is my lounging outfit, but I feel like at least like I can already like just looking out like girls that are straight, their lounging outfit is probably like high-waisted leggings and a cropped like workout outfit, and like it's just different. I can't really explain like why in specific or the way that you talk or.
Yeah.
Or if I'm going out to the bars, like like joke around and kind of be like, am I gonna look gay tonight or am I gonna look straight tonight? And it's like a crop top and jeans versus like, more like a straight-legged pant and like a button down, like what you're wearing, like it's.
Yeah, crop top and jeans. It's like crop top and mom jeans, right?
Yeah.
That's the look. So so let me ask this actually to all of you in a certain sense, but I'll start with you. When you have all these friends who knew you as being straight. So are there ways in which you see your friends and you just sort of signal to them like, hey, by the way, I'm not straight? Because you don't just want to come out to everybody. So it's nice if you can just signal.
Yeah, it was an interesting like transition as like during freshman year, like obviously you're going to like the frats and you're like going out and, like I said, like you're dressing a certain way. And I kind of like kept presenting myself that way, which sounds what, because like nobody like there is no way to like look gay and there is no way to look straight, so like but at least what is considered like heteronormative, I guess, like still kept like presenting in that way. And there were times where even like my friends would like if a guy was like trying to like say anything would be like, oh, she's gay, and I'd kind of be like, oh, like I don't know, it's just so weird, like almost like they'll do it for me and and that's fine. I would rather them like be well aware than kind of like ignoring it or like So.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that? Or what would you add to that?
Yeah, sometimes when I go to bars with like a lot of my like straight gal friends, like everybody's like making out with a dude, and sometimes I'm just flirting with a girl sometimes, and like I flirt with both obviously, and like I don't know. That's what gives them the cue of it and like reminds them of it, and like I don't do like any like sort of hints with like my family at all and stuff. So like especially with like my like heritage kind of, so it's kind of weird.
So this is all the impression stuff. And
I had a friend that I worked with my first 2 years at high school or of college, and we had a secret language between us. So we would say hips or hiding in plain sight whenever I would do something super gay, but no one would like actually know except for him.
Yeah.
And then we had a gaydar sound. If anybody's watched Futurama, you have the dude with the claws. I don't know his name, the one professor dude, and he goes, whoop, 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 whoop. We would do that whenever I would do gay shit.
yeah. When you
Like,
broke
for
through.
instance, somebody would be on the TV and one of my coworkers would be like, she's so hot. And I'd be like, sure. And then my friend would be like, yo, hips.
Yeah.
Woo.
Got Final.
I guess just like when I'm around my straight friends, I just do wear, like Madison said, just like a crop top and jeans and like certain type of shoes versus like when I'm with my queer friends, I'll wear like Doc Marten sandals or Vans or something like that. And then I guess a giveaway for that I'm not straight is that I have my septum pierced. So everybody can kind of tell from that. Even that is gay. I feel like straight people don't know that.
Straight people don't do that.
Straight people don't know that like a septum piercing looks gay.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
All
you
of
know
the
that,
straight
bro?
women are going,
Like I have the bar in my ear, like this bar right here. It's a very bi thing. So.
And what?
being
Oh,
gay
yeah,
is not
no.
in
Hey, listen, thanks.
really
Thanks,
a sexual thing, so.
Yo, round
Florida.
of applause, everybody. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's the piercings for me.
Dude, that's